And in fact, if you hear some of the criticisms coming from Anambra State, for those who are saying there is a witch hunt against the Labour Party, at some quarters, Chief Victor Ume of the Labour Party has criticized your government and APGA in Anambra State of witch hunt and attacks on campaign billboards and not allowing for a free atmosphere for them to campaign. They said, in fact, in Anambra State, APGA cannot even win the presidential election. How far can your party go in this presidential election, considering the fact that the son of the soil, Peter Obi, is from Anambra State and is getting the kind of attention that he's gotten? You've laid out your permutation as to how you think the presidential election will go, which you said may not go in the favor of Peter Obi.
Thank you very much. I think you've put up three things in one. But with the very first part of it, it's not even worth my time commenting on about, the rantings of some people about their billboards or no billboards and so on and so forth. I don't want to be drawn into that. I think that has been exhaustively dealt with by the government and by the Anambra State signage agency and so on that regulates this. The the point that was repeating is that the advertisers of Nigeria, the signage agencies, have actually dubbed Anambra and commended me for being the most tolerant government with regards to electoral, free and fair electoral practice. It's on record, and everybody knows that I have for 2 times granted the presidential candidate of the Labour Party to use government property, government house for his campaign without charging him a penny. Nobody has done that. He didn't do that when he was governor. He didn't even allow Labour Party, where he is now, to freely campaign in Anambra. He denied them even the venue that they paid for. But I have allowed him to use government house twice free of charge. They were at Onitsha the other day and had their campaigns. They have their billboards all over the place. But the point is, when you fail to play by the rule, you put up billboards and you don't pay the relevant things, of course, the signage agency will come after you. Even yesterday or so, I had a complaint. They pulled down even the board of one APGA candidate for a federal house. They pulled it as he hadn't paid his own, and they pulled it down. This is a state for rule of law. And for anybody else conjuring anything, you might have to ask the question. Even when they say their billboard is pulled down, you go all over the state, the billboards are lining up everywhere where they have met the terms and conditions for that. They want some kind of entitlement thing. We can't continue to give them everything for free. When every other candidate, nobody from PDP is not complaining, APC is not complaining, other parties are not complaining. Nobody else. Why only them? When we have granted them free, the presidential candidate free, twice, not once, twice. So indeed, the second time he had it, I had to cancel a pre-scheduled event, meeting that I was supposed to have at that same venue, government premise. I had to relocate them to come, and I used canopies to have that meeting at the governor's lodge so that he could have the whole space to himself. That's how tolerant we are. That's who we are. And that's what APGA is all about. I might have a whole lot of faults, but being petty is not one of them. So I don't want to get into those kind of...
So, let's go. I was asking about the chances of APGA, but the question here is that you made a very, very, very long analysis and permutation about the 2023 election. That was when the election was still some 70 or 80 days away, but it's 36 days away now. Have you changed your mind, or your position still remains?
Sure. Let's be clear. APGA is contesting this election, and APGA has got presidential candidates. You started your program by introducing me as the new national leader of APGA. I have a responsibility to campaign for my party all the way from head to bottom. And so we are contesting very seriously about the permutations, the chances, and so on and so forth of each candidate. I think the electorate will decide that in the coming days. I think barely 5 weeks to go. But we are on the ballot, and as a political party that believes fervently in, we are social democrats, we're progressives, and we believe that our own manifesto presents Nigeria with the best alternative for its future. We will go out there and campaign vigorously about that. The outcome, like I said, will be, the test of the pudding will be in the eating. In the next 5 weeks, it will be out there. I don't want you, and I will resist you trying to draw me again. You know, the last time we were here, you started off, brought up P2B, and I told you why you're bringing that up. And then you kept on pushing until you finally got the response you were looking for. Today, I will assure you, no matter how you want to draw that 1,000 times over, you won't draw me into that conversation.
You know, Prof, you are my very good friend. You are my very good friend, and
we are.
This is between Charles and Sheil. Don't let anybody come in between us right now.
Yes.
Now. So the conversation is a friend to a friend. So let's keep it that way. And the fact is,
it's a friend to a friend, but others are listening. That's the important thing.
Yes, but they may say what they want to say, but the question is, tonight, you analyzed the election and you thought that the election could go in a certain way. And that's the question I asked. If you still think that the 2023 election is off the hands of the Labour Party, you thought at that time in that piece that you wrote that election is between Bola Tinubu and Atiku Abubakar. That's your analysis.
Well, I think you are naming those yourself, Shane. I don't think that in the election, by piece, I said, I named who it was between this or between that. And that I mentioned that I didn't see the pathway for a Labour victory. That's my prognosis there. And all I can say to you today is that, and I'll repeat it, and I said so in the same piece, that I wish Peter Obi the best of luck and let him go and compete as others. We are also competing on the same race with him. We have our own candidate who is also son of the soil, coincidentally from Anambra State as well. And he will do his own bit, get his own votes. Even the same piece itself, I even considered, you didn't point that out, that Peter Obi might win in Anambra State. I did mention that in that same piece. About winning the overall election itself, quite frankly, my prognosis of the entire election itself as to what was and what it is and so on and so forth, by that piece, if you just want one sentence to summarize it so you can go to the next, we can get on to other things, is that piece, as I wrote, I didn't just write it for today, I wrote it for history.
Interesting. So one of the things that came out from those who deduced one or two things, and I was following the comments here and there for those who made some rebuttals to what you wrote. The underlining major comment that people have made, which I took out, is that the claim that you have a presidential ambition, now that you are able to speak publicly after that time again, is it true that you have that kind of, and it's not illegal for you to do so, and so it's by rights, you're a citizen of the country, and you have worked hard enough to get yourself the kind of profile that you have today. So there's nothing wrong about it, but is it true that you have such an ambition in the future?
Shane, I've just been elected governor of Anambra State, and I have just been in office for a few months. I am here to serve the people of Anambra. I started my life, my career at the global level. I served and traveled to 45 countries, lived in several countries of the world, finally returned to Nigeria and served at the federal level, at the highest possible level, as it were. And now coming home to my own state to serve my people. Part of my own homecoming to give back to my own community what it is that I have to offer. That is what the people have asked me to come and do. And that is what I am spending 24/7 of my time focusing on. You see, there is this penchant in this country. When you lose an argument, you change the topic. I wrote a piece rather than anybody responding to it, point by point or whatever. You start probing motive. Why would he write it? Not whether what he wrote is right or wrong, or whether his trajectory and even my proposals make sense or don't, but about what might be the motive. Maybe he is, maybe he is not. I don't get into those kind of distractions, because it's a road to nowhere. The important thing is that here we are today. My party, the All Progressives Grand Alliance, is featuring in this election, and we are competing to win as a political party. This is a contest, a partisan contest among political parties. My party will be, and this logo will be on the ballot. Other parties, their logo, there is no person whose name or face will be on the ballot. It will be political parties. So this will be a partisan contest in which my party will be on the ballot. And I have the right, I would say, to campaign as vigorously as I can for my political party, as the case may be. And that is what I am doing. And that's what I will do for the remainder of the days until the election comes and goes. It's only a few days to come. And by the way, this same political party of ours, focusing on the agenda, what we are elected to do here, to provide security, law and order, wealth creation and infrastructure, getting on a social agenda that leaves no one behind, fixing how government works, and addressing the environment. You may also recall, and let's not even depart from that our major focus now is delivering on all these 5 planks, especially the issue of security. Security not just of Anambra, but of even the entire Southeast. And that's why, as you noted during the rally, we made a very passionate call to the federal government to help us secure the Southeast on a more fundamental, sustainable path by calling for the immediate release of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu from prison. He has to be part of that conversation. This must be the kind of conversation that we should be having now.
All right.
Not about who might have ambition or not.
Yeah. So you're leading me to my next question. You all just nearly teased my next question, but I promise that I'm not going to push in this conversation at all on any matter. I'd like you to freely speak on what comes to your mind. But just in 10 seconds, we will keep this tape and it will be golden. If you can tell me, could there be a possibility of a President Charles Soludo one day? Could that ever be a possibility?
Shehu, could there be?
This is the second time being governor.
No. You asked the question now. Listen.
Just
now
maybe President Charles Soludo.
Wait, you get an answer. The possibility of that is in the hand of God. The possibility, we don't even know who will be alive tomorrow. We don't even know who is going to be anything. Whatever anybody could be, what I am today, I didn't plan for it. I didn't get onto it. I was, if you know the history as to how I got here, it's in the hand of God. God knows who will be alive tomorrow, who will become, who will not be. And that's why it's a little bit funny when people start sitting down to do all these computations in the history of man. There is what is called the G factor. That is the God factor.
All right.